possession of the game for Kansas City. And here was the home run play, 1 of 2 by Grace Cooper. You're going to hear her name a lot this season for Minnesota Vixen football. That was a 51-yard scamper that tied it up at 7. And then how about this play by Liz Sowers? She's an amazing athlete, and I wouldn't be surprised if she ends up in the All-American game at least. That was her only touchdown catch of the day, but that was good for 23. And this was a big play, the pick 6. 95-yard run unofficially for Amy Mugas. She runs out of gas a little bit at the end, but just about everybody did. And that evened the score at 13, which brought us to our halftime score. And there's Williams with a 2-yard run. There's another player who's going to do big things this year. And that was the most amazing play and the most amazing catch for Sam Barber, the 5-yard tiptoe score in the corner. Williams running it in from 1 yard out, following a huge 3rd and goal catch by Sowers. And then another big play by Barber in double coverage. She comes up with it, a 13-yard catch to complete a 51-yard drive. And then here was the icing on the cake by Cooper, a 22-yard run. And the Vixen, turns out they didn't need that score, but Cooper will take it, 33-25. As you see both teams go out for a post-game huddle, a common practice in WFA games. It's an extended family here in the Women's Football Alliance.
Yeah, they're still trying to, really launch the league.
Football just caught me. It's like I tried soccer for 2 years, and I feel like football is just more thinking and more action.
All right, this is not 3, 1, 2, 3.
My parents didn't want me to play when I was younger because it was a boys' sport, and they're like, we don't want you to do that. So I was a dancer and did gymnastics and stuff. But in 8th grade, I finally decided to play tackle football and really enjoyed it. And I was kind of looking for a team, a women's even flag football, and then I found out about the Vixen, and I'm trying out, I'm doing it.
This is my 20th season. I've had this weird fascination with football since I've been 5 years old. And I've loved football. I watched the Vikings when I was a kid. I watched the Gophers when I was a kid.
I go by Red, a.k.a. Nana Poo. I'm a grandmother of 4. This is my 20th season. I play D-tackle. I play nose. I do engagement for at-risk youth. So I'm kind of like a lead assistant dean at a high school. That's my passion. My second passion, of course, is football.
Everyone is surprised. Everyone's, oh my gosh, you're so little. Do you even play? Are you on the sideline? No, I get playing time. Aren't they so much bigger than you? Yeah, they are, but you don't let that intimidate you.
What I've always believed in is sports is sports. There's no definition on it. It's not about gender. It's about if you want to play a sport, you should be able to play it.
We have got all walks of life. We've got all sorts of people, and you can't beat that.
These last several years, we've seen it really expand, where we've had 150 women who tried out for the team this year, and we're carrying a roster right now of about 60 women. Our league has over 60 teams all across the nation.
It's about your motivation and your attitude while you're doing it. What are you putting into each single rep that you do tonight that makes yourself a better football player?
What I'm most excited about is being able to leave something behind that little girls can look up to playing and look forward to playing. Not powder puff, not, I want to play, but I got to try out for the boys team and then sitting there, but just give them something that, I can actually go play, and get better at it. And they get better and they go work harder because they got something to work for.
All right, 40-0 was the final here. The Minnesota Vixen with the dominant victory over the Columbus Vanguards. And it was really a dominant performance from start to finish. Starting in the first quarter, Jeanette Nelson got the scoring going with a 65-yard touchdown run. That capped off a 99-yard touchdown drive by the Vixen, looking very, very good from the start.
Yeah, she had a monster game tonight on the ground.
And then you see Kirsten Hansen with the touchdown pass, 28 yards to Leslie Ulrich, and that made it 14-0. And then Grace Cooper with the strong run, 25 yards around the outside, that made it 20-0. And then Hanson to Sam Barber closed out the first half scoring. It was all Minnesota at that point, 27-0.
Yeah, just Hanson throwing some strikes tonight there. She gets a little bit of lucky tip to Barber. Barber muscles her way in. It's nice that the Vixen have so many weapons that they can rely on offense and don't have to just rely on one girl.
And then Emily Evans decided she wanted to get on a touchdown passing act. She throws a 21-yard touchdown pass to Ellie Becker to close out the scoring. Again, all Vixen from stem to stern. It was 40-0. And, some blowout victories are better than others. Some look a little bit suspect. This one was pretty good.
It was, start to finish, and they dominated. It was a great game.
All right. Well, that was an impressive performance by Minnesota. Sean Parker, Jesse Stanger welcoming you back to Assembly High School in Grove Heights, Minnesota, where the Minnesota Vixen complete their 48-0 whitewashing of the Wisconsin Dragons. And Jesse, we're going to take a look at some of the key plays of the game. This was true domination from start to finish. Kirsten Hansen with the screen pass on the outside that Grace Cooper breaks for 43 yards. Right here, using her speed and power to get past the Dragon defenders. And then 2 plays later, Jeanette Nelson punches it in from 4 yards out, giving the Vixen a 7-0 lead. Then Grace Cooper again. It's the Grace Cooper show, bouncing inside and outside for 25 yards before taking it to the house 24 yards on the very next play, making it 14-0 Vixen.
Yeah, she really set the pace for the Vixen tonight with her strong running game.
Moving into the second quarter, Grace Cooper bouncing it left this time, and she goes the distance 46 yards with the beautiful stiff arm right there, capping a 73-yard drive, making it 21-0. The Vixen on their next series only took 1 play on the long pass from Hanson to Sam Barber. She went 58 yards on that play. For the touchdown, it was 28-0 Vixen. Later on in the second quarter, Hanson, after dropping, stepping, rolling, looking, she finally finds Jeanette Nelson. A beautiful play on the left side. That helped to set up another touchdown run by Grace Cooper. That was her 3rd of the day, capping a 59-yard drive, making it 35-0. Then, in the third quarter, it was Hanson to Ulrich on a 12-yard touchdown. Leslie Ulrich with her touchdown. And finally, Grace Cooper capping off the scoring with a 13-yard touchdown run. That capped a 91-yard drive on that particular drive. Best drive of the day for the Vixen. And that ended the scoring 48-0. The Dragons, they just couldn't generate any offense all day.
No, they really struggled. Grace Cooper's going to get a lot of the praise with her big 4-touchdown day. but that doesn't diminish the powerful runs that we saw by Jeanette Nelson and a spectacular catch that she made. And then just the all-around defensive effort by the Vixen, which is what led by Chelsea Swanson racking up 3 sacks on the day.
48-0 was the final here from Denver Grove Heights. The road to Atlanta keeps rolling on, and the Minnesota Vixen just knocking down every single boulder in their path. For Jesse Stangen, for the entire Town Square TV crew, I'm Sean Parker. We will see you next time. Parker, Jesse Stanger back here at Assembly High School in Grove Heights, Minnesota. Minnesota Vixen with a 35-7 win over the Wisconsin Dragons. 3rd time they've defeated the Dragons this season, but this one really was the important one because it advances them to the conference championship game. We're going to take a look at some of the highlights here. Wisconsin opened the scoring with a 28-yard touchdown pass from Sarah Bayer to Kelly Washington. That made it 7-0 Wisconsin. They would not see the end zone again today. It was all Vixen. On the ensuing kickoff, Sam Barber takes it, goes through the middle of the Wisconsin special teams and goes 80 yards for the touchdown to even the game at 7. Later on in the first quarter, Kirsten Hansen on a quarterback draw goes 50 yards, almost untouched, to the end zone, scoring to make it 13-7, Vixen missing the extra point. They increased their lead to 21-7 on an 11-yard touchdown pass to Sam Barber. And then Kirsten Hansen for the 2nd time today. Normally she does it with an arm, today with her feet. 11 yards on the touchdown. And Grace Cooper ending the scoring for the first half, and as it turns out, the game with a 32-yard touchdown run around the right side to make it 35-7. Running clock in the second half made that score the final. 35-7, the Vixen and the Dragons. So the Vixen will advance to the American Conference Championship game. And the question I have for you, Jesse, is there anything that's going to stop them from getting to Atlanta?
Well, they're going to have their hands full with whatever team they have to face next round. But yeah, they had a slight hiccup to start that game, settled in, and it was all Vixen from that point. We're firing all cylinders, and we got to see Crystal Nina's come in for a couple series and immediately had her presence felt. She had a QB hurry that led to an interception herself, and then a sack, I believe. So getting her back is really going to help them moving ahead to this next round, but competition's going to get a lot harder.
Near the end of the game, we saw Emily Evans go off. She has some kind of injury. We hope she's okay. She is Kirsten Hansen's backup, so they don't want to go out there without their safety net in 2 weeks. So we want to thank everybody for joining us here. 35-7 is the final. The Vixen move on. They are 1 game away from Atlanta.
Hello, I'm Sam Barber, number 13 with the Minnesota Vixen.
Number 25.
Tara Klaas, number 74. I'm Kirsten Hansen, number 12.
Crystal Nina's number 15.
Number 30, Erin Leiden.
Number 17, Ashley Green.
Shots, number 18. Number 93, Brennan Clark. My favorite state fair food is corn on the cob on a stick.
But that would probably be Juanita's Fajitas.
Milkshakes.
My favorite
favorite food is the mini donuts down by the grandstand, corn on the cob, and fries. Sweet Bertha's cookies, turkey sandwiches, and turkeys to go. Red velvet cheesecake, avocado stuffed shrimp,
French fries.
Cheese curds, corn, alligator, mini corn dogs.
And my favorite thing to do at the fair is definitely people watching.
My favorite thing to do at the Minnesota State Fair is people watch. My favorite thing to do at the Minnesota State Fair is people watch.
People watching.
And people watch. And people watching. Heck, I want to be the weird one that makes people want to watch. Go, Vixen!
Parker, Jesse Stanger here in Inver Grove Heights, the Minnesota Vixen with a 29-6 win, an impressive win to win the American Conference Championship and head to the national championship game in Atlanta to face their nemesis, the New York Sharks. And Jesse, this was a tight game in the first half that the Vixen just blew open in the second half. We're going to take a look here at the first touchdown, a 15-yard touchdown pass from Kirsten Hansen to Sam Barber to make the score 7-0. And then, the Mile High punting, Sam Barber, normally sure-handed on the return, she gets the ball dislodged from her, and it was Kimberly Sanestevan going 33 yards on the fumble recovery for the touchdown. The Blaze missed the extra point. That made it 7-6. From here, Jeanette Nelson punching it in from 2 yards. They convert on the 2-point conversion, and they make the score 15-6. And then, one of two Caitlin Hill interceptions on the day. They just did not have an answer for her on that corner. Later, Jeanette Nelson from 1 yard out, and that made it 23-6. And then Grace Cooper capping off the scoring with a 1-yard touchdown run. Extra point was no good after that. That gave us the final score of 29-6. And the Vixen are headed to Atlanta to play the New York Sharks for the national championship. Jesse, they were impressive tonight.
What a great last home game for the Vixen. They go into halftime just up one, giving up that late turnover for a touchdown, but they come out, make the necessary adjustments, and just completely dominated the Blaze in that second half. It's been a wonderful season following them. Unfortunately, this is where we part ways with them. We won't be making the trip down to Atlanta, but we want to wish them the best of the luck. They got a great, well-rounded team, and probably the best chance they have of coming home with a championship that we've seen so far.
So again, if you want to watch that national championship, it will be Friday, July 27th. I believe it's going to be 7 o'clock Eastern, but it is definitely going to be on ESPN3. So check ESPN3, the online platform, and you can catch all of the national championship action. For everyone here at Town Square TV, for my broadcast partner, Jesse Stanger. Jesse, it's been a great season. Thank you so much for making me sound good and laughing at my jokes. For everybody here, I'm Sean Parker. Take care. We will see you next season.